And now, podcasting from the sun-scorched desert Southwest, weighing in at a combined total of 340 pounds, Brad Winchester, Tyler McDowell-Blanken, are Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Brad Winchester, and with me, as always, is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell-Blanken. Tyler, this week was crazy. Joe Biden dropped out of the race. A global internet outage. But the biggest news of all, Tyler, you bought college football. How you doing today?
I did.
I think that was today. I said today. But
No. Yeah. I didn't expect you to lead with that one. We will get into that shortly. Yeah, man, I'm well. You're right. Even in the last 48 to 72 hours, so much has happened, as you outlined. Not all bad news. Not all bad.
Nope.
But yeah, so much good, man. So many blessings this past week. Obviously, I'm here with you, so I'm in a good mood, regardless of what did or didn't happen this past week. So I'm feeling good, and I'm ready for our episode today. And we got a lot of wrestling, some pop culture, AEW talk, WWE, big shows coming up for both companies. Obviously, we'll be talking Batch, episode 2 of the Bachelorette, Gen Trans season. We got a promo. We got a state of 19, filling everyone in on what the team is up to. So we got a lot to get into, man. How are you?
I'm doing really well. I feel better. I can open my car door from the outside now. On the driver's side.
Do the masses know about this? This was a whole project.
Oh, no, my car is falling apart.
No.
It's falling apart. Man,
it's all out there.
Apart.
I did it.
It is. It's wild. So early, was it last week? I think last week, either early in the week or later in the week, I was getting ready to go to the school. I think I can't even remember now, Tyler. But I grabbed the driver's side door and I went to open it up, and the handle just pulled apart. Just fell apart, like straight up broke inside the door. So there's no longer the ability for me to open the door on the driver's side from the outside. On the other side, on the driver's side, front side of the driver's side, I can't use my key fob to unlock it. The motor's burnt out in there. So it makes this loud, like horrific metallic fart noise, and then doesn't unlock the car. I have to manually key unlock it and then crawl through, grab the handle on the driver's side, push the door open, exit the passenger side, and go around. The car is so small and so just junk in terms of design that I can't actually crawl over the seat into the driver's seat. So it's the only way to get around. The back seat on the passenger side, late in the school year last year, I rolled down my window. Actually, it might have been in the spring. It was in the spring. I rolled it down because I had frost on my windows. Yes, we get frost in Arizona. And I needed to back out of the car. I didn't scrape the windows off. And I'll just roll them down. Well, they never rolled back up. The one in the back, the driver's side or passenger side rear window, the cable snapped on the inside. So now it's also making a farting noise with the unlock mechanism. So I have 2 motors to replace over there. I got the new window gimmick for the rear passenger. I haven't touched any of that yet. I fixed 2 handles, the interior and exterior handles. Interior was kind of flaking apart on the driver's side. And I'm currently fixing up the vents and the vent plates and the vent trim in the interior. And then we're going to deep clean it. But trying to get this thing so that it's ready for the year, so that I can at least tolerate my drive to school. I'm not going to be happy in that car. It is a 2009 Chevy Aveo. And no, nobody still has one of these, because it's either in a junkyard somewhere.
Chevy Aveo is a deep cut. I forget that we're both Chevrolet guys. Aveo is a deep cut. Vintage, almost.
I looked up the trade value for that.
You hit Kelly Blue Book.
I should not have. My guess.
What's the KBB?
I think I could get more for scrap than I can for trade value. I think it was under $2,000. And that's for a car with less than 83,000 miles on it. But it's an 09 and it's an Aveo and nobody wants it. So
even the cherry red Winchester edition.
It's a Saint Amour edition. This was Jessica's late grandmother's car. When she stopped driving, we took the car after we got rid of a Kia Sedona, I think is the van. We have a Sorrento now, so it was the Sedona. We had a tan minivan. Got rid of it when Jess's is a whole thing. We gave it to Jess's grandmother because she needed a van after Jess's mom wrecked their other van somehow. I don't remember what happened. But we were like happy to get rid of the van. We were like, I don't want a van. At that moment, I felt like 2 days later, we decided to have Freya, and then we needed a van. So it's
just like that.
Yeah, it's just like that. So
does Kia have Arizona roots? I'm now thinking you're right.
No,
they have a Sedona. They have a Tucson. Isn't Kia? Or is it Hyundai?
That's a Hyundai. Yeah,
Hyundai.
Yeah, Hyundai.
Okay,
Yeah.
different. Okay, I was like, wait,
I think
Arizona
so.
Based? No, you're right.
Is that the Santa Fe and the Tucson? They have desert. So. They have desert things, right?
GI also talking automotive.
Poorly, I might add. Yeah.
Trying to just Fast and Furious, but this is a new lane for us, pun intended.
Yes, and like blinkers, I can hear clicks happening all around the world of people getting off of this screen because of what we're talking about.
Well, we did have great feedback last week, though. By the way, I want to make sure we thank our listeners.
Yes,
Brad. I know it's about to come from you too, even though I interrupted. Great reception last week. Thank you all for watching, for listening. We had a great conversation, and just wanted to give you all a shout out for supporting us.
Yeah, it was amazing, and I think it paid off that we took out 15 minutes of policy talk. And it was probably confusing. If you made it to the end, it's like, that's the most political talk. And you went, really? It was like 30 seconds of political talk. It's well, there was more, but
as in the extended edition, not to be released to the general public.
The director's cut staying in the vault, the Disney vault, with all of the other things that we can't release to the public. Well, we do have a file. We have a couple of files in there that are clips, not safe for consumption clips, including a segment, which we will keep to ourselves. Tyler, I hear something upset you this week. So let's get into it. I'm excited for this. Cue up the music. It is time for 2 weeks in a row now, a promo of the week. Hit it.
And now, the promo of the week.
I'm going to surprise you. My original intention for promo of the week was to give you a recollection of my visit to the car dealership, one of my favorite places on earth. Exactly. Full sarcasm meter. Yeah, man, it was actually kind of cool. I had to wait. I got there, I was
Sounds
waiting.
Sounds cool.
I was waiting for a service representative to come over to me, and it just took a long time. I was probably waiting for 6 minutes, but it felt like 12. But by the time I was taken care of and the service got done, 2.5 hours later, I was out of that joint, new oil, all that stuff. I still am here to tell you, Brad, I would take a trip to the dentist over a trip to the car dealership anytime. I'm not saying that to pop you. I'm not saying that to do a number on this episode. I left the dealership really feeling that way, because when I go to the dentist, I know what I'm going in for. I know the kind of general price range. It's not mysterious to me. The reception is very nice. They'll compliment me on my lashes, all natural lashes. And then I'm out of there within an hour. With the dealership, there's this air of mystery about what's going to be performed, how long it's going to take, how long it's going to cost. There's all men. No one's going to compliment me on my lashes. Dentist trip, greater than sign. Car dealership appointments, maintenance appointments, every day of the week. But that's not my promo. My promo of the week involves...
It's more of a hot take.
It's more of a hot
take.
Yeah. We do have a segment for that. My promo involves the aforementioned EA Sports College Football 25.
Oh, shit.
My weekend was off to a great start. I updated you on this. I made a trip to Goodwill. I made a trip to one of my favorite restaurants here in the Valley, King Euros. Shout out to them. I also made it to Target. I was picking up an online order, which involved the new EA Sports College Football game. Brad, I was saving this update for this exact moment. You do not know this, audience. Brad has not heard me say this yet.
Yeah.
I have not played said game. I did not give you a review of said game because, in fact, for our YouTube audience, I have the game right here. Brad, you see at the top right, where it says Xbox Series X?
Oh,
So I got the Xbox Series X edition of this game because that's all that's available.
Did you think you were getting a Xbox Series S?
However, I do not have an Xbox Series X. I've already opened said game. I put it in my Xbox One system and it said, "You cannot read file." I said, what do you mean cannot read file? And then I had that moment, that dreadful aha. I bought the wrong console. But how it works now with these next gen systems is they're slowly, and I know this, I should have known this from your PS5, they're slowly phasing out the older models. So my dilemma is I've already opened it and I've extensively reviewed Target's refund policy. If an electronic, a game CD, etc., if anyone buys CDs anymore, once it's opened, you can exchange it for another, for whatever, but you can't get a refund. So here are the options, Brad. Again, this promo is being cut on myself, by the way, not Target in this instance. The promo is on me for this. So I can go to Target and attempt to ask for a refund, or I can purchase an Xbox Series X. Brad, I was so close this morning to just going back to Target, Walk of Shame Jones, and just buying a Series X. But those joints are $500. I don't have $500 at the moment for a new video game console. So I think I'm just going to wait this out and see what happens. But I have the game everyone's talking about. I don't have the console to play it on. I should have known better. This promo is on me. I will try to do better next time, and I'm going to try to wait it out until the Xbox Series X goes on sale. And then I'll give you my review of EA Sports College Football 25.
So I have a suggestion for you.
I'm ready. I need all the help I can get, clearly.
Okay. Hang on to your stuff. Well, don't hang on to your stuff. Actually, get all your shit. Pack it up. Go to Bookman's.
Yes.
I'm not kidding.
Learn from the best.
I'm not kidding.
I know you're
get
not.
All of your stuff. Bring it to Bookman's. Old DVDs you got, Blu-rays, CDs, especially if you have CDs, they'll take them. Old music, they're still into that. Any tech you might want to get rid of, all of that stuff. Bring it in. You get your teacher discount or educator discount. Since you work in education, you should be able to get it still. Just show them your ID. You work for the college. I get that thing. Or just lie. Say you're a student. You get 20% off. You get all of your trade cred, and then you can get a Series X. I guarantee there's one sitting there like a shelf turd. You can get a PlayStation. You can get an Xbox. Go get another Xbox if you want to, if you have enough games and stuff to trade in.
Right. I'm kind of committed now, right? Unless I go there and go to Target and try to exchange for a PS5 edition.
But I mean, you can get rid of the game too. I mean, here's I'll come back to it in a second. So if you get all that stuff and you're like, but I want a new system. I don't want a Bookman's used refurbished Jones system. Get those systems and then bring them to GameStop. And if they have a trade deal, you can get like an extra $100 or whatever for a system. That's what I did. I got a new PS5 for, I think I paid $30 for it because I brought in my Series S, all of my games. I had a PS4 at the time, but that's how I got all my systems. I've just traded stuff into Bookman's and either gotten a used one or gone into GameStop and used like a birthday gift money or something to pay
birthday
for the rest
voucher.
of it. Yeah. And just go get your new stuff and then you're good. Now the question for you will be, do I want to stick to discs or do I want to go all digital? I went all digital for both of my systems. Sometimes I regret it because you can't get like a used copy of something or you can't get it on the cheap, but I don't have to worry about where am I going to put all this crap? Like, do I really want to have like a spot dedicated to video game discs? Because like the sentence itself,
if you're single like that,
the sentence itself just seems ridiculous. So it's worse if you're married, because then where are you going to put all your house bullshit? Like your stuff that
it's not great in either situation.
No,
married or eligible bachelor.
No, it's either I don't have the space or somebody else is using the space. Those are your dilemmas. Really, it's figuring out what goes where, especially after you have kids someday. When you have kids, it's a whole thing, man. But like, yeah, just get rid of your stuff and then go get better stuff. And then you don't have to pay the $500. Now you could commit to it by trading in all of that stuff except college football. And then you could use that to parlay it into a new system.
Right.
And then, like if you want to get your old used games that you're probably not going to play anyway.
Exactly. Right. I have a whole section of those here.
Yeah.
And the Xbox One is still in good condition. It's not on the fritz by any means.
Yeah. And it's I loved mine when I got rid of mine. It wasn't just because it was like, it's time to get rid of this. There's games coming out that were only going to be for the new gen. And I wanted to make sure I could get to that. And
which is exactly what I overlooked. Like how did I? Okay, Brad. Well, you continue to be a North Star for me, my friend. Thank you for that.
Telling you how to spend your well-earned money.
I was so close to just like overcorrecting. Brad, we do this in driving, we do this in life, like trying to overcorrect your mistake. I almost did that earlier with getting a Series X, but I'm going to wait it out. I'm going to think about your words, maybe visit my local GameStop or Bookman's, and I'm sure I'll report back with my update. Once I discovered this, Brad, I kid you not, for any of these situations now in my life, my initial thought is this is going to make for GI content. Like at least my suffering is for some reason, for clicks, for views, for entertainment, for our audience.
Yeah, for entertainment purposes, right? It's sometimes it's not for entertainment purposes. Sometimes, Tyler, you got to put some money on the line. And if you're thinking about money on the line, we got you. Are you ready to elevate your fantasy sports experience with Prize Picks? You can win up to 100 times your money during the women's basketball season. Imagine turning a $10 entry into a whopping $1,000. If you're looking for promotions, Prize Picks has got you covered every week. From lowering your selected player stats projections on Tuesdays to help your lineup hit, or getting your entry fees back if you have a losing lineup on Fridays. And you already know women's basketball is on fire with stars like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese looking to make names for themselves alongside greats like Breanna Stewart. Dude, by the way, those two linking up in the All-Star game this week, amazing, right? And Asia
Big
Wilson,
time.
You could win up to 100 times your cash watching them ball out. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks for a deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
Speaking of women's hoops, WNBA All-Star Weekend, easy for me to say, from Phoenix, the most magical city on planet Earth. Erica Lee Day, former guest, friend of the show, big shout out to her. She was covering it all weekend. In fact, Brad, you know this. I had lunch with her earlier today since she was in town. So great to see her. My first time meeting her in person, which absolutely wild. So proud of her. Support women's hoops, support Erica Day. And man, obviously we're honored to be sponsored by Prize Picks. So check them out too.
Yeah, incredible. Tyler, we got WWE to get into, so let's dive in and hit me with your question.
Yeah, we do. It's been 105 days, Brad, since Bayley defeated Io Sky at WrestleMania to become SmackDown Women's Champion. Although Bayley trends on a fairly consistent basis every week for a variety of reasons, I want more from her title reign. So my question is, what do you think of her reign as champ thus far? And would you feel a way if she dropped to Nia Jax and or Miss Money in the Bank Tiffany Stratton in less than 2 weeks at SummerSlam?
No, either one. I think it would be okay. Look, man, you know how I feel about Bayley. They nailed that Damage Control storyline, and then the turn and all of it felt earned, and it was so good, and they didn't build it or hype it at all. At all. This is entirely a WWE marketing problem. They were pushing Rhea so hard to the moon that they forgot that their longest, probably most important women's star that they've had in the last 5 years, outside of maybe Rhea at this point, just kind of left there. You could throw Becky Lynch in there if you want to as well, but Bayley was the pandemic. Bayley and Sasha carried both brands through that entire time. It's incredible when you think back about like the Thunderdome and the PC. It was those two. We got moments like like Bayley making Bianca carry Otis and do all the strengths of the feats of strength and all of that stuff leading up to her win. Like all of that stuff was so great. And then we got it was just all so good. And then haven't really marketed her. Like she wasn't on any of the promotional materials for WrestleMania. And I feel like it's not a bad run. Like her wrestling matches have been fine. It's just her storylines going into them haven't been great. I don't really know where this character is going because what she's doing is just sort of there. And it's confusing. And I don't know how we got to this point. I think Bayley needs a reset on her story, not on her character. I like her character right now, but I could see that happening. And Nyla certainly has earned this. I think we both thought this was going to happen sooner with her, but maybe they still were like, well, we don't really know how we feel about Nyla yet because of how things ended the first time around. I don't know. So is it Tiffy time? I don't know. I think it's hard to deny that the crowd is super behind Tiffany Stratton right now.
Yeah.
But I don't know that they want to have a balance with a babyface and a heel wrestler as a champion, because if you have Bayley as champ and Liv is kind of a heel right now, but not a very good one. Like she's a heel, right? I think.
Yes.
But like Dom's kind of the heel in all of this, and I don't really know.
Dom's the heel,
but I don't.
He's definitely going to be the heel when he turns on Rhea in Cleveland.
Yes, because I mean, Rhea's poised. Rhea's already a babyface, and she's not supposed to be, but she is because she's so awesome. It's undeniable.
Right, yeah.
So even when she's evil, she's great. She's kind of MJF in that respect, where it's like she's so evil, she's great. I love that stuff. But yeah, I think it's time. I don't know what you do with Bayley though. I feel like they really let her down in the storytelling. It's certainly not her fault. She's just been amazing. And I'm so glad she got her flowers, but they were just like discount flowers from the WWE. It was like, we recognize that you did good things. Here is this star. It's a sticker. Sorry, that's a chocolate one. You have to eat it right now or it'll melt. Everybody else gets solid gold, but you get this chocolate one. And it's just, that's sort of how I feel about this whole run. It was there. I feel like it's completely unfair to Bayley, but
right.
I think the only fix at this point is to remove it. It gives me Hangman vibes. Like Hangman had an incredible run of championships.
It's an interesting comp.
And nobody seemed to care. And that's sort of how I feel about this right now. Bayley came out not that long ago, and I don't remember what I was watching, but it was just quiet. I don't know how the WWE allowed that to happen. It's freaking Bayley, man.
Right.
How do you screw that up?
Right.
So anyway,
to me, it's giving the dreaded. The moment was her win.
Yes.
In Philadelphia, but then what comes after that? I think
they didn't know.
Right. And we were even discussing that with regard to Cody Rhodes being in that situation. Okay. Yeah. I think Cody and Bayley, similar outcomes, obviously, at WrestleMania, two of the biggest storylines leading to and following that show. Probably the two best built matches, one could argue, heading into WrestleMania this year. Cody versus Roman. Need I say any more? But then to your point, Brad, Bayley and Io, the damage control, that was so well built. We got the moment of her winning. To your point, though, the marketing of Bayley not really being on the poster, not getting a lot of shine, that was very curious in the moment. And since on my timeline, she's trending, certainly when she was called BBL Bayley, you know, and her outfits trend. Like, so she trends because of her beauty and because of just
and her juggling.
Yes.
Juggling, doing rehab like workouts and stuff.
Yeah, all of these amazing things that
really
make
hilarious.
up who Bayley is.
Like, what is happening here?
But I don't see her trending for storyline reasons. And if you contrast that to your point with the women's title picture on Raw, Liv versus Rhea, one of the biggest storylines on Raw right now. To me, we're not necessarily seeing that with Bayley at the moment. I just thought her title reign was going to be more substantive. And to your point, obviously a lot of this goes to booking and to creative decisions. If she loses at SummerSlam, to me, it would give transitional champ vibes. And I don't want that for Bayley. But Tiffany, for Nia Jax, this would be a huge look.
Yeah.
She's had the best year of her career. I wouldn't be mad at that. Tiffany Stratton, we know she's ready. It's just a matter of when she's going to cash in. I just want more out of this particular Bayley run at this particular moment in her career. I want something more substantive. I'm worried that we could see this end at SummerSlam in less than 2 weeks.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. I agree with everything you just said, because it's like I want good things for Bayley, because I freaking love her as a talent. She's so great. But also, if not now, when for Nia and Tiffany? You know, are you going to wait for whatever tweener between SummerSlam and Survivor Series? Is it another Sands of Time? Is it another? I don't know which ones.
And both of them are ready. Like, I'm not mad at the idea of them becoming champ, but for Bayley to potentially lose it, which I think is a real possibility, I would feel a way about that.
And I think it's really going to come down to, is there interference in the match to set up a Bayley storyline with somebody else?
What is that next program? Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't want her to be in a position where Naomi is. Naomi's getting screen time, but the star,
same thing. It's
the star she was in Impact, in TNA, excuse me. She was a face of that company, and then now since she's been back, she's been given spots, but maybe it's just a sign of how loaded the women's roster is, Brad. Maybe that's also a part of this mix, is there's just so many women who are ready for that top billing, and that's really evolved over recent years. The roster is stacked, and the people coming up from NXT are also, they're hungry and they're talented and they're ready to go at the same time.
Well, I think it's both storyline wise for something like Bayley. It's what time and do you dedicate to it? Because SmackDown only has 2 hours and Raw has 3. So there's more time to play around with on Raw. But what are you going to give your time to? Are you going to dedicate more of your time to, if Cody Rhodes is going to have a promo, who is inarguably the face of the company, not just the brand, but the company right now, are you going to give the time to that? Because if he wants a 20-minute segment or needs a 20-minute segment, that's what he's going to get. And if it's followed by a 20-minute match, that's what he's going to get. He can occupy 40 minutes of a 120-minute show, and then you take away commercials. So I think that always is going to happen. And then it's like, well, what after that is going to get the most views or ratings? Is it a backstage thing? But even that's not really being done, because you have tag teams. You have there's so much stuff happening. I can't pretend to know what the inner workings of a production like that look like, and the logistical hurdles they have to jump over. But if you can't find the time to put in a good story for your top champion on the women's side, then I don't know what the point of it is. I don't know why I give her that moment in such a big spot if you're just not going to do anything with it. Maybe that's unfair. Maybe they had good ideas and they just didn't work. Maybe we're misreading this, but I don't know anybody that could come up with a counter to that. I'm just glad that Bayley is getting attention in any way, because granted, some of it's kind of gross online. We had a conversation off air that kind of sick of it from people, but it's difficult to see her in this position, finally a champion as a baby face after earning her way back to it, after doing deplorable things for years and years and years. And her company doesn't seem to care. So Tyler, I love Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green is such a fun talent, man. Her character she's a great heel. She recently stated that she wanted to be the female Miz. She's been saying it for a while, but she's been going online to say it more and more. I want to be the female Miz. And I think what she means is she wants to be able to do acting and have crossover appeal to multiple things, be in all of these programs and do comedy, do serious wrestling, all of those things. That said, what did you think of her being squashed by Bianca in like a minute this week?
Get it right to the question at the end. I mean, my love for Bianca runs miles and miles, as does yours. I mean, who doesn't like Bianca?
Of course.
She's just fantastic. Always.
No, nope, she's not up there anymore. She's in a protective storage case.
As she should. Yeah.
Man,
so in terms of, on the other side of the coin, right? Love Bianca. On the other side of the coin, we also really love Chelsea Green. Mm-hmm. Being squashed by Bianca, to me, they're kind of like in movies, there's an alternate ending. To me, there was an alternate ending to Money in the Bank, where instead of Tiffany Stratton winning, Chelsea Green wins in her home country and carries that briefcase. Chelsea is interesting because, as you said, Brad, as a comedy character, you don't need to win a lot of matches, but it's how you lose some of these matches that is curious. So her being squashed by Bianca, I don't love it by any means, but I think Chelsea has proven time and time again, no matter what you give her in terms of an outcome of a match, in terms of a gimmick, in terms of whatever time slot you give her on a show, she is going to maximize that time and make the best out of it and make it work. So on Chelsea, the performer end, I have no doubt she's going to make this work and continue on the great run that she's had this year. But her being squashed by Bianca this week, I would love to see Chelsea get more and better. I would love to see her actually rack up wins.
Yes.
I think it's possible to be a comedy character and still pick up the dubs. But in her case, following Money in the Bank, now, even though having a stellar performance in that match, not winning, I worry that this may not be the last time we see her lose in quick fashion this summer. How about you?
I would love, I agree completely with you. I want to see her get some wins. I'd like to see her in some longer matches because we know she can go, but I also you can incorporate the comedic stuff within it. Just
for sure.
Also have her win by cheating, have her do a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
I think it would be funny if she won and then got mad at the ref and then realized she won. Thinking she lost, but she actually won. I think stuff like that would be great.
The Iconics.
Exactly what I was just going to say,
okay.
man.
Please, I'm gonna let you cook.
Imagine her under the Iconics under Triple H would be the biggest thing in wrestling right now. They were on fire and they got let go, and I still don't get it.
I think they'll be back at some point if they
want
my gosh,
I hope
so.
I hope
now,
so. Yeah.
Shout out to them.
Yeah,
the Iconics were champs. They won.
Yes,
they won a lot.
Yes, I would love to see them back. They were such a great team.
Yeah,
Billy Kay, man.
Iconics versus Chelsea and Piper.
Oh my gosh!
Maybe when we get Evolution 2, that was in the news this week as well.
Yep.
We talked about Evolution 2 weeks ago.
We've been talking about it for years, man.
For years. We've been ahead of the curve.
Yes,
you know how we
yes.
do it here. That match is one that I need on the card, just to clarify.
100%. So, I would love to see more from Chelsea in terms of in-ring stuff and rack up some wins. We know that wins, quote, don't matter, but it is kind of important for a product that's supposed to be, I don't know, the depiction of a sport, not a sport, but a depiction. I think Triple H called it. It's supposed to be something that looks like a sport or is a depiction of a sport or a depiction of a fight. I think he called it. It's supposed to look like those things, but it's not those things. So if you're depicting it, there should be winners and losers. And if you're always a loser, nobody's going to take you seriously. It's a sorry state of affairs, but what's not a sorry state of affairs, Tyler, is the state of 19 Media Group. Play the music.
Late breaking news from the world of 19 Media.
In case you missed it, nothing says Happy Birthday America like reckless fireworks, bizarre traditions, and a healthy dose of local craziness. Jessica and Carmen are back with a special July 4th themed edition of Small Town USA. Check it out. You can follow them at Small Town USA Show. Show is spelled SHW on X.
Check out Hidden Gems Golf. I almost said Hidden Gems, Tyler. 19's official fantasy golf-based podcast. Wow. The Mojo King provides picks and analysis like no one else can. You can follow him at A Power Mojo.
Desmond continues his greatness on Hip to the Games, a show dedicated to the love of hip-hop and hoops. He welcomed Mike Steph to the show for a special You Had to Be There episode, celebrating the career of New York Knicks great John Starks. You can follow Dez and his show at Hip to the Games.
Ricky discussed LA's hiring of JJ Redick, still shocking to me, on the latest Late Night Lake Show episode. You know he has you covered with the latest headlines from Tinseltown. You can follow him at Late Night Lakers. Still surprising they gave up a podcast career. Can't believe it pays as much.
Yeah. The Lakers. I don't think they're going to be good this year. But also, I'm a Suns fan, and I don't know if they're going to be good. I think they're going to be good, but I think title contenders, though, that's the bar. As
a Pistons fan, I just support you.
Yes, Monty Williams. He's doing well, man. He's getting paid by 2 or 3 teams right now. I don't know that we need to feel bad for him. I hope he's doing well. But you and I, amongst many things we share the Monty Williams coaching experience. But sticking with the association, Warren and Cal of the Baseline NBA podcast have you covered with awesome content, even during the off season. Check out their latest Who You Got episode, pitting Blake Griffin against Amare Stoudemire. You can follow them at NBA Baseline. Brad, who are you picking in that? I need to check out this episode.
Amare. Just dropped I don't even have to think about it.
Okay, good man. Good man. You know,
I don't even think it's close. No,
it's not even a question. I'm going with that, but that's just my bias.
Yeah, of course. How can you not?
He was great.
Speaking of Warren, he continues to do great work at Dope Interviews. We welcome artist Justin Bua on the latest episode. Tune in to follow the show at dope_interviews.
We're thrilled to have SiriusXM's Gerald Brown on the 19 roster. Check out his weekly show, Heavy in the Paint. He welcomed Anthony Morrow, one of the best shooters in NBA history, for a great conversation about Morrow's career, Klay Thompson leaving Golden State, and more. You can follow him at GeraldBLSS.
Finally, we love Mike Steph. Mike and Mo dropped a new episode of Hidden Gems Football, previewing the NFC West. You can also check out his weekly show, The Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph, for passionate commentary on the latest in sports, professional wrestling, and political news. Follow him at Mike Steffens _. Hopefully we make it happen soon. Supposed to record with Mike. Tyler had plumbing issues today. Plumbing, of all things. We got car problems. My school's got wall problems. We got plumbing problems in the kitchen. I just got problems, man. I'm fixing all of them, though. So hopefully we can link up soon. Been wanting to talk to Mike on the pod for a long time.
Absolutely. I look forward to that episode. Brad, let's talk about AEW. AEW Collision has their summer residency at the Esports Stadium. I think Esports Stadium in Arlington, Texas.
Yeah, I don't remember.
They'll be there for the next several weeks leading up to All in London. So I'm really curious to hear your thoughts about the presentation of Collision this past weekend, because it was very different than what we've seen from the past year of that show. However, I do want to ask you something else. It's kind of involved in Collision, but there's more I want to expand on. So at Collision, we saw FTR come out. They cut a promo amongst an adoring Arlington fan base and declared their intention to face the Young Bucks for the AEW Tag Team Championship at All in London. I believe we're at an inflection point with 2 very important teams on the AEW roster. We have FTR, Dax and Cash, with their intentions of reclaiming gold again. But then, ironically, we have the other team that has declared their intention to become champs, the Acclaimed. We know the Acclaimed are on Team AEW, heading into Blood and Guts this week from Nashville, Tennessee. Brad, you and I have documented this on air, off air as well. The Acclaimed, where they're at. We knew at some point you can't sustain that level of Road Warrior pop forever. The act for some appears stale, but it seems like the Acclaimed continue to get fairly strong reactions from live crowds. Again, I believe we're at an inflection point with both teams and their next steps. What say you? Where are you at with FTR and the Acclaimed? And which team do you believe dethrones the Young Bucks?
Do I have to pick one that dethrones them, or can neither of them dethrone them?
That is an option.
Okay. I don't know that there's another tag team on the roster that I believe in. That's a tag team and not a trios team. There's so much trio stuff. Is the Gun Club, are the Guns a tag team? Is a combination of like Austin and Jay White a tag team? So like we have other people, and then sometimes people are like, let's tag together Hook and Samoa Joe. And I just don't know what other tag teams exist. The Lucha Bros are kind of there, but Phoenix had his leg destroyed this week. So I don't really see any other options. Private Party? Do we think
they don't have
a shot? So Not as currently presented. So I don't really know who it would be. Maybe somebody from the Kingdom, maybe undisputed or not undisputed, United Empire, if they can relink. I truly have no idea. So if it has to be one of those two, it's gotta be FTR. They just don't need it. So FTR beating the Young Bucks that's the match I want to see. I want to see Bucks and FTR at Wembley.
It's the fifth one in their series, right?
Yeah, and
we saw it at Dynasty in St. Louis, and perhaps we're going to get it at. I feel like if they're teasing it at London, it's going to happen, is it not? Maybe
I feel like it.
3 of these teams. What do you think?
I mean, that would be a lot of fun. That would be a lot of fun. But I would love to see FTR and Bucks, and this is their last match. This is it. That would be really cool. It'd be a great way to go out. We're never going to wrestle each other again. Maybe they add that to the storyline or something. But I wouldn't hate a triple threat. I think those are always fun. AEW does a really good job of booking tag team matches like this, especially in a Young Bucks kind of style, where you have that toward the end of the match where everybody's just from each team tees off on each other and kills each other in the ring until the audience applauds, and then they get back up and fight, and then we don't know who's going to win. I really like watching those. Those are always fun. So hopefully that's what happens. If not, I want it to be FTR and Bucks. How about you? Yeah. And I think it would be FTR if anybody.
I agree. I can't help but think, I'm just thinking about Max Caster's mustache. I can't help but think it's a nefarious facial hair choice. Doesn't it give heel vibes? Yes. He's already calling himself the best wrestler alive. He has the stash. He's in incredible shape. To me, the Acclaim splitting, perhaps due to a Max Caster heel turn, seems more likely than them becoming champs.
Agreed.
Again, I would love a 3-way in London, but I believe FTR has a higher likelihood of dethroning the Bucks than the Acclaim does. Even though the Acclaim beat the Bucks several weeks ago on Dynamite, I don't think they're going to be the team to defeat Matthew and Nicholas.
Yeah, I don't either. I want a clip. I would love a 3-way in London for your Rose from Tyler segment. Tyler, Skye Blue.
Do I get to react to that? I got to say, I just will laugh. That's wild.
Skye Blue. Skye Blue had this is a terrible transition into Skye. You made me say Skye Blue 6 times now.
I've heard of her, Skye Blue.
After a 3-way joke here. Skye, it was phrasing, pal. Skye Blue had the spooky gimmick. She then very abruptly and suddenly transitioned into a cowgirl gimmick. Still a heel, but we know the transition is from spooky to home on the range. Very confusing to me. In her match with Sheeta, however, it appears she injured her lower leg. It was wrapped and elevated in Fletcher's post. She had it up on a couch. Hopefully she gets well soon. It looks like it sounds like she'll be back pretty soon. If not, what do you hope from her character when she comes back?
Clarity and depth. I watched Collision. I didn't ask you this explicitly in the previous question, but I actually really enjoyed the presentation from the esports stadium or arena. I know it's a far cry from being in these big venues, but we've been calling for a different setup, especially for Collision.
Yes.
Something that's more intimate, that pack the house instead of booking a huge arena where you're maybe not able to at this time. So I actually really enjoyed it. It kept me engaged. Like I wanted to tune in and watch it all simply based off of how different it looked.
Yeah, it looked really cool.
It looked really cool.
There's a lot of orange in the background, and that was a little fatiguing. They need to do something about that to mitigate that.
Okay,
either put some movement up there or mute it a little bit. That's my only critique. It was just like sometimes it just looked like they're like, I don't know, hologram and the giant orange.
Hologram, yeah.
Didn't even talk about him.
Hologram's fun. That was a cool debut. Skye Blue, though, obviously, like you said, Brad faced Hikaru Shida. Was really looking forward to that match, and like you said, it was stopped early, ref stoppage due to Skye Blue's injury. So, what do I want from her character? Clarity, more investment, because she has switched very often, and heel, face, spooky, unspooky. She was and is still on such a great trajectory.
Yes,
I was just the other day, yesterday or Saturday when watching Collision. I was thinking about that 3-way match she had with Julia Hart and Chris Statlander. I want to say that was earlier this year. I could be
I think
wrong,
so.
but that pay-per-view match
Yeah.
was, you remember that? It was
Yeah.
awesome. And I believe, no, she hasn't held gold yet. I definitely believe that's in her near future. But I think as part of that, I want her character to be more clearly defined. And the spookiness was cool while it lasted. But who is Skye Blue as a character? We know she's
Yes.
becoming better and better every time we see her. But for her to get to that next level, we need clarity. We need more refinement, and I think she's on her way. Who is she as a character, Brad? Right? Don't they say that about wrestlers? Like, you should be able to define them in a few words or one sentence max. Hangman, anxious millennial cowboy, Britt Baker, dentist, and face of the like. Who is Skye Blue? She's awesome, but I need more clarity and more depth for who she is on this roster and how she fits in with this increasingly stacked division.
I think that part of it might have been her just trying to troll Texas, and that's why she did the cowboy hat.
Oh, I didn't consider the trolling element.
Yeah, maybe it's because I was like,
she's a heel. She's a heel still.
Yes. So I was
That's
like,
pretty.
what is this heel woman from Chicago whose first gimmick was like, I don't know, skateboarder that
Yes.
Is now dressed like a cowgirl? You're from Chicago. So I was very confused by all of this. It's not like she grew up in super rural Yeehaw, Illinois, like raising cattle. It's none of that. It's you're from Chicago, man. Like, so
it seems once Julia Hart got injured,
they screwed that up. Oh man,
who is Skye Blue? What is she? House of Black? Is she not? I think there's something to be said for maybe she becomes an official member of House of Black. That would have been a direction to go, but
yeah,
it didn't.
Or at least continue on with the spooky stuff. Like, why did it get dropped? Why isn't it affecting her anymore?
Right.
What it didn't really affect Willow the same way, but why did it all stop? And like, there's no anything there. It's just the House of Black spitting at people, and sometimes they turn and sometimes they don't, and nobody knows what the hell's going on with any of this. And we got spooky Skye Blue to change her from a baby face to a heel, which worked really, really well. And then they just went, okay, you're still a heel, but you're a different heel now, and we're not going to tell anybody why. So there's just nothing there of substance. It's just sort of like, you're on the roster, cool. Don't do that to Skye Blue. Holy shit. Like, no. Skye Blue is your future.
And I could see her getting lost in the shuffle. 100%. I hope this doesn't happen, but with the roster, with people returning healthy, hopefully Jamie Hayter, with Mercedes coming in, if Camille ever debuts, like, I could see Skye Blue easily falling in that pecking order. And I just don't want her to, because
Julia's got to come back. Where's Penelope Ford?
And again, Hikaru Shida, we mentioned Britt Baker, like, this isn't 2022 in AEW. The roster's loaded. I think Skye could ascend, but I think the character is going to be really important, because we can enjoy her matches and recognize her progress, but are we invested in the character? For other women on the roster, we are. For Skye, like you said, Brad, we're not there yet. But I hope we reach that point.
I do too, because that's a talent that they can't. Yes, they can't. They gotta, like, they should be going all, no pun intended, they should be going all in on her and trying to figure out ways to get the audience invested.
Homegrown.
Yes.
That's part of why we love AEW. The homegrown stars are what we.
Yes.
From AEW Dark to AEW Women's Champion,
and it doesn't need to go from NXT to Raw or SmackDown. Feels different for some reason than watching them go into AEW and do the dark tapings and then go into the main roster and do stuff there. I think it's all because it's all one thing rather than one system. It's sort of like watching people figure it out. Like, oh man, we didn't even talk about Anna. So like, there's just so many people on this roster that are homegrown that are really good, that I want to see really good things happen to. And sure, they're maybe not as refined as they would be if they started elsewhere, but watching them figure it out has been as much fun as watching the product. It's really cool to be kind of a part of the journey. And I think that's what makes AEW so much of an appeal for me, a draw for me, is that we get to see these journeys and what is this WWE legend going to do differently on this channel and in this company rather than what they were doing over here. Tony Khan saying Adam Copeland's on the best run of his career. Okay, let's calm down a little bit. But since coming out of retirement, I would argue that I think he's probably on his strongest run since he came out, because he had really great moments coming back. But the greatest match ever with Randy, and he got hurt. He debuted at the Rumble, great moment, didn't really do much. Pandemic happened, got hurt, came back. He returned once a month for like what felt like 6 months, doing spooky stuff, Judgment Day, all of that. It was cool, but it wasn't as good as what he's doing in AEW, I don't think, wrestling wise.
And he never had a championship in that WWE return. He lost against Roman, and Roman defeated then Edge, and then Daniel Bryan in the main event. I remember one year, but after that, not that you need a title to validate your run, but
of course not.
It's just interesting looking back on it now that he didn't hold gold following that epic Royal Rumble return. It's like a top moment for me of this generation.
Yes.
Awesome.
And I think it's really cool that he's working with younger people and working different styles and doing things that he's like, oh no, this creatively will be really cool. We got a Gangrel moment. Like,
just don't jump off cages anymore.
Yeah.
Adam.
No more cages. Yeah.
Please. We love the Cope Open. Love the match against
so much
Matt
fun,
Cardona. Man. Just please don't jump off those cages.
God, all of that has been so much fun watching him just be creative. So, I think having a homegrown and watching them start from the bottom and work their way up is really cool. And we've been able to see that with Skye Blue. We've been able to watch her ascension, and there's other people too that I'm sure I'm forgetting, because Darby is a thing. And yeah, there's just so many talents that have gone other places that haven't been allowed to thrive. And now we have Mark Briscoe in AEW, and the guy is a treasure.
Speaking of blood and guts.
Speaking of
he's
blood
also
and
a part of Team AEW.
Yes. Yep. I love it. I didn't know I needed a pairing between him and Kyle O'Reilly. I had no idea that was a pairing that I needed in my life, but it's been amazing.
I really
and Shibata.
I really enjoy all of these people you mentioned, Brad. I also really enjoy all things Batch. It is time for my Bachelorette recap. A rose from me. Hit the music.
And now for a rose from GI's most eligible bachelor.
All right, Brad. Devin, quick one here. A real quick one, not just me saying that and then long. Like this is legit. Hear me out. Devin, the 28-year-old freight company owner, is already ruffling feathers. He has a beef with Aaron and Thomas due to being extra about spending time with Jen. I know you can even think of a comp for this from when you were watching the series, Brad. They were on a group date in Australia. I'm going to paint the picture for you. And Devin took Jen away for an ice cream date. So episode 2, we're already establishing a pseudo villain because he wants to spend extra time with the lead and is not afraid to ruffle his peers' feathers to make it happen. It was a whole thing, but I don't think any of those 3 guys are winning whatsoever. There's not a lot of chemistry with Aaron or Thomas, even though Thomas is also Vietnamese. It's not going well. And I don't think Devin has a romantic connection between Jen. I don't know that she's really feeling it. He is a Pete Davidson doppelganger. I do appreciate that they brought that up this past week on episode 2, but again, the personalities, Devin's and Jen's, it's just not a match in my opinion. So we'll see what happens moving forward. I imagine this time next week on my next Rose update, one of these dudes is going to get bounced, if not 2 of them, maybe all of them. We'll see. But here's my question for you, my partner, my man, one of my closest friends on earth. Quite simple. All this being said, what is your take on the following cliche? Opposites attract. Could I be wrong? Maybe Devin will make it to hometowns. Do opposites attract? Is that a thing?
Yeah. Well, sames attract too. I think opposites work, but whatever attracts. So Jess and I are dissimilar in so many different respects. We have a lot of commonalities. Don't get me wrong, but there's a lot. Me, like, I'll take risks. I'll make things awkward. I like doing that. She wants nothing to do with that. Literally trying to get a podcast off the ground about how much of a prude she is. And I'll say stuff to make her uncomfortable. I'll swear, I'll say a body part nickname, whatever. It's got to be something. I'll work blue just to make her blush. politically, we don't always agree on things. We have different views on the world, and in other things too that I'm not going to go into because it's probably too personal for her and she'll get really upset. But we love each other, and that's part of the charm. I don't think you can have. I think any relationship needs to have a little bit of a push and pull to it, because if there isn't, it's boring. Life is boring. You don't always want to agree on things. There's no growth from that. So pushing each other to grow in some way is always healthy and good. So I think that there is something to do with that. Now, how opposite we talking? Because
there's levels to this.
Yeah, I think if you're
too opposite is
if you are opposites and it's a positive and a negative at the end of a AA battery versus the poles of the earth, that is too great a distance in opposites. But at the end of a battery, it's a small little distance between those two little poles. And I think that's fine, where you have differences and you can overcome them because they're like lots of differences, but not big differences, not world shifting differences, or not a great amount of differences. I think if you have, like there's, all I can think of is things people said to me, but none of them are appropriate. So, or they're going to be misread. Think about people that you are typically attracted to. Are they your opposite? Because I can tell you that a lot of the times they are my opposite physically, not just because they're women, but because they don't look like me at all. And I don't know, maybe that's a baked in DNA thing. Or is it just because I'm scared because I was adopted? Who knows, Tyler? Who knows? Maybe that's survival of genes, but it's also, personality wise, I did date somebody who is incredibly like me, and holy shit, did that blow up in our faces. It was terrible. Too similar is awful. So yes, I believe opposites attract.
At both ends of the spectrum.
Your irritations or your temperament cannot be the same as that other person's, or you're never going to agree, or you're never going to come to a decision. You're going to, I don't know, what do you want to do for dinner for the rest of time?
That's brutal. That's a brutal proposition. Maybe listening to your response, man, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is hope for Devin. I'm getting a little opposites attract from the date between him and Jen, but you made some points. Maybe it's not all doom and gloom for him. Either way,
I think he's.
It probably is.
You got a good barometer for this.
I like to think so, but three of my four guys are out.
Yeah.
So maybe not this season. I don't know. Well, you have to tune into the show, tune into GI to find out. But all that being said, what did we miss?
Nyla and Mercedes. Are you out of your damn mind? Might be the moment of the week. That was just so good. Britt unmasking and Sting retweeting it with, that was really cool. Or at least the Sting account. Who knows if it's him? Max internationally uploading AEW content onto their platforms. I think we're going to see it soon. God, I hope we're going to see it soon. I can't afford these $50 damn pay-per-views, Tyler. And while we were recording, I got a little update on my watch on my phone. Bobby Lashley has been removed from the internal roster in WWE. His contract is set to expire. Shelton Benjamin hasn't signed anywhere as of yet. Bobby Lashley is out there somewhere. You know what I'm thinking?
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
I don't know where, but I'm thinking it. And I don't know
where's that tea? You wore that tea last week, right?
I did. I sure did. Or 2 weeks ago, one of the two.
You called it without even realizing. You put it out in the ether.
And I don't know what MVP's contract status is. I know he's not doing anything.
Yeah, I think he tweeted out the salute emoji.
Yeah.
But
he was saying stuff about Triple H's booking of black folks. So I don't know. I don't think he's going to be there very long. So who knows what's going to happen?
For business reunion, possibly.
God, I hope so. I don't know what you're going to call it somewhere else. We'll call it the injury business.
They'll figure something out.
No idea.
Wow. well, maybe a future tee purchase right there. I, like you, also have a quick list. Shout out to another dear friend and former guest on the show, George Romero. He met Trish Stratus and Lita in Tucson at Park Place Mall. Today, he has the photo evidence.
Wow.
Check George out. Big shout out to him. I'm completely living vicariously through him. I confirmed, I'm totally putting his business out there. I confirmed that he was starstruck, but for all the best reasons. He got the selfie with both Hall of Famers. Big shout out to George. Obviously, we love him. Final quick points. TNA Slammiversary occurred in Montreal. Nick Nemeth is the new world champion. Jordan Grace retained. Speedball Mike Bayley beat Mustafa Ali. Seemed like a really fun show. I believe they had about 4,000 in the venue. Huge house for TNA. It seems like not only has the crossover with NXT been beneficial for WWE, but it seems to be paying dividends for TNA as well. So obviously sending our love and flowers to the talent in TNA. I did not see the show live, but by all accounts, it seemed like a successful event. And then finally, we have 2 new articles on the website at gimmickinfringementpod.com. I wrote about why I am with the Bloodline 2.0, why we must acknowledge Solo. All of us, myself and all of you listening or watching, I have a list of 10 reasons why we should back this new Bloodline. And Brad, for our final note here, I would like to kick it to you. You wrote another stellar personal piece entitled Community. Tell us about that.
Well, I was trying to think of things that kind of bridge the gap between all of us, because I feel like politically, belief-wise, there's a huge gulf in America, specifically, where we just have to be on team A or team B, and we can't be somewhere living in the middle. But we have so much commonality that we share that I felt like it's important to remember that just because people post stuff online, or just because people might wear a tee or whatever, that we all have these sort of common loves and dislikes, and we all want the same things. And I think we agree on a lot more than we disagree on. Policy isn't everything. One issue isn't everything. We all agree people are weird if they brush their teeth without using water. We all agree that it's, we don't read the terms and conditions. And if we do, there's something wrong with us. We just agree to it and we move on with our lives. So there's a lot of things that bridge us. And in the wrestling community, it's kind of the same thing. We want to see good wrestling. We want to see really good stories and entertainment. We want, I think, what's best for people in the space. So everything is wrestling, Tyler, and there's community abound, and it's about finding our community. So I wanted to put something down. I needed to get it out of my soul. It felt like poison in there. It felt a lot better after I got it out. Felt timely to post it during the RNC and remind myself that there are good people in the world, that there are good people that I know, and that not everything is about just an election cycle or about what we're voting on. It's about more than that. And it's really hard to keep that in mind.
Beautifully said. Do you want to talk about Hulk Hogan?
No.
Me neither. Thank you all for joining us. We hope you had as much fun as we did, especially with this episode. And we'll see you next week. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.